This is more a movie which is based on politics, strategy, backstabbing, something like that. It feels more like that. It feels more political than war. I feel that the crux and the soul of the film is not the action sequences, it's the story. Guess I got what I wanted. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel guys, and yes, better late than never, I finally watched Ponniyin Selvan Part 1 yesterday in the theaters in IMAX. And before sharing my thoughts, let me clarify that I watched it in Hindi because the Tamil show, I don't know, for some reason did not have the subtitles, so I watched the Hindi dub. Now, when this movie had released, there was a lot of mixed reactions by the audiences. Some loved it, some hated it for various reasons. So please let me know, those who have already watched the film, did you like it or did you not like it, for whatever reasons that you have. As for me, I started reading the book. I told you in my trailer reaction that I ordered the book, so I started reading it. I've obviously not finished it. So yes, while walking into the theater yesterday, I can say that I was kind of going in with a clean slate because I barely started reading the book, so I did not have any context whatsoever. Now, Ponniyin Selvan 1 is a historical fiction which is based on Chola dynasty and the entire politics that revolves around the throne of the king. Now, starting with the writing, I have to applaud all the three writers here, because to adapt a novel which has so many characters, and in the movie there are so many things which are going on, so I can understand how much complicated the storyline of the novel is, and to compress it all in a single film is a monumental task, and I feel they have done a really good job here. The movie begins with a narration which sets the context of the storyline so that it's pretty much clear to the audience that what we are kind of getting into. Now, because the movie is two parts, it's very essential for the makers to make the characters stand out, and there are so many characters here, so I can understand how difficult it would have been to make each and every character stand on its own. But personally, I think it was executed really well. Now, there has been a lot of chatter that I've seen on the internet about the names being so complicated and it was very difficult to comprehend for a lot of audience. I completely understand that, because there would be a lot of people who are probably not able to catch up with the name and place the characters in their head immediately. See, initially for me also, I was getting like bombarded with so much information that how many characters are getting introduced one after the other. But I think in the course of watching the film, like within half an hour, I was fine with it. And as I said before, I barely started reading the novel, so I went in with quite a clean slate, and the confusion factor, I personally did not feel it at all. Just for example, Karti's character is called Vallavareyan Bandiyadevan. Now that is a complicated name, I completely agree. But the thing is that Karti introduces himself so many times in the film that that name gets registered in your head. I loved the politics that was shown in the film, and this is what I was essentially expecting, because I love that kind of storyline and setup. And the way everybody was playing their cards, that was fantastic to watch, especially by the two female leads, which is Trisha and Aishwarya Rai. I mean, talk about writing complicated, strong, intelligent female characters. These two characters of Kundavai and Nandini, played by Trisha and Aishwarya Rai respectively, they fit the description perfectly. Another thing which I really liked about the writing was the way they ended the movie, the cliffhanger that was used. I loved it because it raises a lot of questions, and obviously those who have read the book, they know what happens next. But for someone who has not read it, there is a sense of intrigue and mystery that, oh, how and why? Now, after watching the film, in fact, within the interval block only, I understood why there were these polar opposite opinions, because trust me, I watched the film in IMAX, and the tickets of IMAX, as we all know, are not cheap. They're quite expensive. There was one family which came in to watch this film. They left. They left after the interval. They never came back. And when they were going out, I assumed that they were going out to buy popcorn and stuff, but they were going out and they said, boring hai. And then there was me, who was enjoying every bit of this film. And this is where setting expectations through marketing and promotions is so important. See, nobody has time to go through all interviews of the makers before the release of the film. People highly rely on the trailer and the teaser, and they set their expectations. So for someone who has absolutely no context, the expectation that is set is that this is a war film. This will have epic goosebump war sequences that we are used to see in a mass commercial movie, and it'll be incredibly fast-paced with the action-packed sequences, epic dialogues, lot of drama and whatnot. This is the expectation that was set through marketing. That is why there are so many people who are disappointed with this film, because they should have promoted it as a period drama rather than a war action-packed film. And the moment the family walks out and they say, "Nahi, ye bahut boring hai," I completely understood how important a marketing and promotion tool is for the movie, how important it is for the makers to cut the trailer in such a way that it actually gives a little bit of context about what to expect from the film. Now, coming to the direction, I loved the way Mani Ratnam sir directed the scheming and the plotting and the entire politics part of the story. He used the actors to their maximum potential there. What I did not like about the direction is how he chose to show us the action and the war sequences. The first war set piece, that was quite good to look at, and I knew at that point of time what he was going for. He was not going for the slow-mo, grand, epic action shots. He was going for more gritty, rooted war sequences, which is actually a good decision, because the story, even though everything is very, very grand, it is also very, very rooted and real. But the problem is that rather than it looking raw and gritty, it actually looks sloppy. If I just remove the first action set piece, the others are very, very underwhelming. Especially the final climactic action sequence. You know, I'll just give you an example. There's a scene where Karthi is tied up, like his hands are tied up. You can see, yeah, like you can clearly make out like the way the knot has been done. It's like Karthi can just move his hand and the knot will fall off. See, that's what I mean by sloppy. I mean, that stuck out like a complete sore thumb to me. There's a scene where an elephant comes in and, you know, bashes the bad guy. Let's just put it that way. It's not shot well at all. You can find so many loopholes in that sequence where it's supposed to be very, very epic and intimidating and scary, but it's not. Coming to the visuals, VFX basically, yes, money well spent, I have to say it. There would be certain sequences where you would say, this is CGI, this is not real, but passable, guys. I would still say passable, because most of the film, I found the visuals to be stunning. Once again, the climactic action sequence that I was talking about, it's on the sea, and it looks fantastic. Now, jumping to the cinematography from this, I found the frames to be exquisite. It's not picture perfect, but still there is beauty in that incoherence. You will feel the grandeur, but with a sense of realness to it. Apart from the action sequences that were short, because there are too many jump cuts there and it completely distracts you, the rest of the cinematography is phenomenal. A huge round of applause for the costume designer as well. This is award-worthy costume design. Really, each and every outfit was amazing. Then coming to the editing of the film, my god, it must have been such a humongous task to edit a movie like this, because the storyline is so complicated, and to maintain that coherence with keeping a little bit of mystery intact, that oh my god, what is going to happen next, who is going to scheme what. So I really applaud the editor here. Pacing wise, I would say this movie is moderately paced, not very fast, not very slow. It's moderately paced, and you need that kind of pacing because you need to really sit with the characters and understand that what their perspective is, what they are thinking, what they want, what is their motivation. Because if the pacing was too slow and we were spending too much time with the characters, it would have gotten boring, yes. And if it was too fast, because there are so many characters, like the audience would have been completely lost. So I think it was pretty much moderately paced. Loved the music given by A.R. Rahman, though the song placement, I was very happy and surprised also that the song placement was good, but the entire song was not getting played. Like, they just played like a snippet of the song and they moved on to the next scene. I pretty much liked the entire album of the film, and I liked the way how the song was also part of the narrative in a way. Now, before moving on to the performances, I will say that there are not any goosebump moments in the film. Like, I never felt any goosebump in any of the scene, but I really appreciated the complexity of this narrative. That's what made the film engaging for me. I was more interested that what is going to happen next, what scheming and what kind of mind games are going to be played next in the film. I was not waiting for a goosebump moment to happen, but I completely understand if the audience went in with that expectation, so that disappointment is pretty much obvious. and valid because the film was promoted in a certain kind of way. Now coming to the performances, very very real, very very real, in the sense that when we watch a period drama, when there are kings and courtiers involved and all of that, we expect the dialogue delivery to be a little more dramatic, but that's not the case here. There's a sense of humbleness and realism in the way people are talking and emoting. I absolutely loved Vikram as Aditya Karikalan in this film because such an amazing character, and I cannot wait to read more about this character in the novel because it's a very very complex character, because he's this brave warrior, he's of course the next in line to the throne, and yet he's grieving like crazy. There is so much pain in his heart that he's not able to let go, and he's projecting all of that during the fights. Amazing character, and Vikram played it so well. Then coming to Trisha, my god, she looked like a dream. First of all, her entire look was so beautiful, and her as Kundabai, I mean, there's the sense of charm, innocence, intelligence, a little bit of cunningness, all of that was portrayed by her so beautifully. Jayam Ravi as Arul More, or should I say Ponniyin Selvan, really looked the part, because when you're playing the titular character, you need to carry the weight of that name, and he has such a towering presence. He absolutely did not disappoint. There's so many other actors who just nailed their roles perfectly, like Prakash Raj is there as Sundar Chola, and you would probably feel that, oh, because he's playing the king, he would act or talk in a certain way, but no, it's just so understated and beautiful. And so many other actors, like Shobita is there, Lal, Aishwarya, Lakshmi, all of them, all the other actors, there are way too many actors here, but all of them just nailed their role. But the two actors which completely shined for me, Aishwarya Rai and Karti. Aishwarya Rai was just out of this world. I loved seeing her in this cunning, negative kind of role. I wouldn't say negative, like it's a complicated role. She has both shades to her, but I mean, that cunningness and that schemingness in her eyes, the way she expressed it through her eyes, was just perfection for me. And then lastly, Karthi. I think Karthi has the maximum screen time in this film, and I loved how his character was. That it was very jolly also, it's serious also. He's like a flirt as well, then he's very brave, so many things, there's so many aspects to him, and he got a very very meaty role, and he could perform it very well. One of the best parts about his character was, like, his presence of mind, and Karthi was quite good at portraying that. Barring the choppy action sequences, which was very disappointing for me also, because the budget of the film is so high, the rest of it is amazing storytelling. Maybe a lot of people don't understand it now, which is fine, no problem, but I feel down the years this movie is going to be considered one of the finest films which has come out of this country. And for me personally, I am very much looking forward to part 2. So yes, those were my thoughts on Ponniyin Selvan 1. I watched the Hindi dub. Oh, before I sign off, I completely forgot to mention that I loved the way the Hindi dialogues were written. The dubbing was fantastic. So yes, kudos to that as well. So yes, with that note, I'm gonna end this review here. I want to know your thoughts, the things which you liked, which you did not like, which you think could have been done better. I have seen a lot of comments also across the internet that it would have been better if this was a web series, which I kind of agree. Yes, because it's a complicated story, needs that much of context building and context setting and time, because there are so many characters here and there's a lot of politics involved. I agree, but we got a film which is also not bad. So yeah, I want to know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'm going to sign off from this video now, and I'll see you soon on my next one. Bye.